The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene alongside. We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. It is the Sportsocracy 7-round mock draft. Each and every team for you right here in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and get all of the content leading up to the NFL draft. We'll be live here in the studio for all 3 days of the draft. The
Every pick is going to get aggressively drunk. Odin's beard's coming out. Lou Holtz will be here. Not real Lou Holtz.
No.
Me, Lou Holtz.
The Jacksonville Jaguars with the #1 overall pick in the draft. We know they're going Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson, the quarterback. Oh, pretty boy. He is. He's going to be the quarterback of the future for Urban Meyer for the 3 years that he has this job anyway.
3 years as a starter at Clemson. Top 10 Pro Football Focus graded quarterback every year. Highest rated quarterback I've ever had. I mean, there's really not much to say. This is the kid. This is the guy. Best quarterback I've ever seen coming into the draft. Jacksonville's lucky to have him, and I'm still really pissed off that we beat the Rams and the stupid fucking Browns. Or he would be wearing his helmet.
Yes, so Trevor Lawrence, #1 overall, no surprise there. The 25th pick also belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they'll take Kadarius Toney out of Florida.
I don't necessarily agree with this, but I've been told Urban Meyer is drunk in love on Kadarius Toney. He's not the same player as Laviska Shenault. I've heard that a bunch of times. It's just not true. He's a pre-snap motion guy. I see him used similarly to how Curtis Samuel was in Carolina last year. Tips hands, makes it easier on the quarterback. I like the fit. I just think it's a little early to me because this is a kid that does not know how to run a route. I've said repeatedly, you could draw the route on the field and he would still find a way to not do it right. But you can't teach a kid to be this elusive or this fast.
2 picks in the second round. The 33rd overall pick, Joseph Asai, edge rusher out of Texas.
I'm drunk on this guy. Chris Ash is on the staff in Jacksonville. He was on the staff in Texas when he was recruited. They apparently love this kid, see him as a situational pass rusher, as do I. I liked him better as an outside linebacker in a 3-4, but apparently Jacksonville thinks he can put his hand in the dirt. Very long kid, very athletic. Just don't necessarily think he's going to be a 3-down guy, but I think he can be an elite pass rusher.
You got all this wide receiver talent. They need a tight end as well. So with the second pick in the second round, Pat Friermouth.
I mean, they call him Baby Gronk. You know, this is a guy that has crazy athletic ability. I don't see the Gronk comparison. I think Hunter Long is actually closer to that. Friermouth's an average blocker, but he can play in line. He's a little better at that than, let's say, a Mike Gesicki, who also went to Penn State. They kind of remind me of each other. Not super athletic, but they just find a way to get open, and they're big-bodied tight ends with good hands.
This was the big shock for me in the Jeremy Greene 7-round mock draft. You've got Travis Etienne falling to the 3rd round?
There are so many running backs that Javonte Williams at this point has surpassed Najee Harris and Travis Etienne as the #1 back in this class. Why? I don't particularly know. I have them as 1A, 1B, and 1C. The running backs fall. A run starts at the back end of the 2nd round when Pittsburgh takes Najee Harris. Then Etienne goes, and you see Michael Carter is from North Carolina is actually the next pick. I just see the running backs falling. There's no clear consensus. Nobody feels great about any of these guys being 3-down backs. I know Urban Meyer is really high on Travis Etienne. They may have to trade up to make this happen. They might have to take him at 45. They might take Friermouth at 33. I think one way or the other, they're going to find a way to get these 3 guys. Or the 3 guys that they have in the 2nd round and Etienne, I do think they will find a way to get all 3 of them. And I know it's shocking to see Etienne that low, but don't be shocked if it comes to fruition.
It is very shocking to see them that low. Let's talk about the 2 picks that they have in the 4th round. 106 overall, Caden Stearns, safety out of Texas.
He's a high safety. A lot of people have had Trevon Moehrig mocked to Jacksonville. I just don't necessarily see it because if they're going to wind up with Kadarius Toney, they're going to have to take him at 25. I don't think he will get back to them at 33. Caden Stearns is he's a very poor man's Trevon Moehrig. He's a deep safety. average body, average build, doesn't do anything crazy well. He's a little limited, but he's built well. I think with the right coaching, he can serve to be a very good free safety in the NFL.
At 130 overall, Ben Cleveland, the guard out of Georgia.
He is big. He does big real well. He's going to need some coaching. The good thing for Jacksonville is that they don't need him to step in and be an immediate contributor right away. This is just a guy, he fits Urban Meyer to a T. Very large, very strong. Skill set's pretty good. There are a few dings on him, but nothing crazy. I think he would be a tremendous value in the 4th round.
In the 5th round with the 145th pick, Cade Johnson, wide receiver out of South Dakota State.
I like Cade Johnson. I've actually got him rated in the top 100, and they get him in the mid-hundreds. This would be a value pick to me. I know wide receiver is not necessarily the biggest need. Having DJ Chark and getting Kadarius Toney earlier with Laviska Shenault. Cade Johnson's an actual honest-to-God receiver. He's a guy that can play on the outside. Nothing jumps off the page about him. He's got pretty good hands. Drop rate wasn't crazy high. And I think part of the drop rate with him was that he's playing at South Dakota State. So you're not getting Trevor Lawrence throwing to you. I think they would be lucky to wind up with a guy like this in the 5th round. I actually had a 3rd round grade on him. He's a little short. He's 5'10", about $180. But if we've noticed anything in this draft class, it's that a lot of short receivers are getting drafted, and they're getting thinner because speed kills, and you can't touch receivers anymore. The way this league is officiated, guys like Cade Johnson now play on the outside. I think he will start as a slot receiver, but I do believe he has the ability to play on the outside.
With their 2nd, 5th round pick at 170 overall, Elijah Griffin, the cornerback out of USC. Tell us about that Trojan.
I like this kid. He's a little raw. That's why you can get him in the 6th round. There's nothing on the tape that screams he can't play cornerback in the NFL to me. And there are a lot of guys that I think you're going to see come off the board that they're just super raw. This guy is ridiculously physical, especially for a guy that's only 175. I think he's going to bulk up. One of the biggest problems with him is that he can't really stop guys. He wants to play like Tarzan, but he's built like Jane. And that's kind of a problem. I think he will bulk up in a realistic big boy NFL weight strength and conditioning program, and I think he could be a steal. The physical nature is something that is very hard to teach a guy later in life. The fact that he has that now tells me that he can be a corner in this league. He's one of my favorite day 3 secondary players. There's just a lot of guys that look very similar to me, and this guy doesn't. The way he plays is different. It's more of an old school way of playing corner in the NFL. My fear with him is that he could develop a reputation for being a little, let's say, grabby. And that could get him in trouble. That's why I think he will fall to about this area. But I think, again, with proper coaching, he could be a piece in the NFL long term.
And with their 10th and final pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars with number 249 take Austin Fallio.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't have my pronunciation
out of Oregon.
This is a guy that if we could have drafted him as a freshman, he would have been a day 2 pick. The decline on him is very confusing. He didn't get after – as soon as his freshman year ended, he stopped getting after quarterbacks, and I don't know why. Sophomore tape was really good. Freshman tape was pretty good. There was a marked decline. And the only thing I can figure is that you wind up with Kayvon Thibodeau, and I almost think his motor just runs hot and cold. And I think he knew Kayvon Thibodeau was on the outside. I don't have to be the one that gets after quarterbacks anymore. And he became a block eater – kind of interior lineman, which I'm not a huge fan of. He's got good length. I like the kid. You're going to have to coach the hell out of this kid. He's got a very relaxed disposition. You don't see that killer on screen that you saw as a sophomore. But if you can bring that out, it would be one of the best picks of day 3.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, again, 10 picks in this 2021 NFL Draft. I think looking at this haul, they would be supremely. Yeah.
Scream it from the mountaintops. This would be the A+ of A+s.
Yeah, supremely pleased to get Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, also Pat Friermouth, Joseph Asai. Kadarius Toney. He's not a guy that really sends me, but if Urban Meyer likes him, then that's his guy.
And I'm telling you, you may not have these picks go in this order. I can tell you they're hot and heavy on all 5 of these guys.
Be sure to join us here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink Different will be here all 3 days of the NFL draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they are on the clock, and it all gets going on Thursday night. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.